it was a fun show. So what was it like, man? Taking Andy to All Out.
We counted up. This was his 12th AEW show. I spoil my kid with taking him to these things. We went to Indie Lucha show on Friday night too, so he had a lot of wrestling this weekend.
Was Mystical there?
No, but Virus was.
Who?
Virus. It looks like Virus. Like he's a real. They had some real CMLL talent at this thing.
Oh, okay.
Like some lower card guys, but I'm like, this guy's real. Like, there was actually some decent talent at this little indie show in Genoa, Illinois. I couldn't believe it.
I saw that. I did see a major star that was there. Excalibur was in the house.
Andy bought a Pentagon mask. He looked cool in it. And he took it off to go run around with his buddy. And it was like, it's a regular adult mask. I wonder if I can fit in this thing. And so I put it on. It was super tight. And I jokingly took a Facebook picture. Mike goes, "You look like Excalibur." Yeah. And I sure as shit did look like Excalibur. I went, "Holy shit, he's right. I do." It was freaking hilarious. Anyways, we had a great time overall. They really, for struggling to sell tickets, they wound up putting about 8,500 in there, and it looked packed with the exception of the top corner, because I was sitting right in front of the ring, close with the video, like parallel with the video board.
Right.
Just the top left and top right corners were empty. Everything else was pretty packed. So they actually eventually, it took a while, but they did get asses in the seats. It wasn't, all out and wasn't like that, but I mean, they were full, pretty much. So it was fine from a crowd standpoint. Crowd was super hot all night, right? Chicago fans, no matter how many were there, get into wrestling. They had a great time cheering. And on the whole, we had a blast. I'm a good when the cage was lowered, Andy looked at me and said, "Oop, there's the train." He says, "Dad, I don't want to watch this match. Can I have your phone?" And I said, "No problem, buddy." Because the last two Swerve and Hangman matches, he actually left the room because they're too violent for him. So he's pretty good at self-regulating. When Hangman busted out the syringe, I bought a little flag, all out flag. I put the flag over his head, just in case he looked up at the wrong moment. And he's like, "Dad, why?" I said, "Don't even worry about it." He said, "Okay, I trust you." So it was. I told my wife, and she's like, "I can't believe you watched that shit." And I'm like,
She's right.
Garbage.
Yeah.
I'm garbage.
Yeah, she's right. All right, let's we'll start from the pre-show. I'll gotta be honest. Full disclosure, I am above pre-shows.
I didn't even go. We didn't go to the pre-show.
Yeah. So did you watch it?
No, I was there. I didn't even watch it. No, I didn't get there in time to start. Okay, we were there at the end of the last pre-show match.
Got you. Okay, so it opened up with Acclaimed defeating the Iron Savages. I'm sure that was not good.
I don't care.
Yeah. And then we go to the ROH Tag Team Champions, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and Hologram defeated the Premier Athletes. Man, this pre-show sounds awful.
Hologram's supposed to be pretty cool. I don't watch Collision, so I mean, people are raving about how cool Hologram is. I didn't see if he got over or not. I was surprised they had an ROH 6-man thing and the Von Erichs weren't there, but whatever.
Yeah. Why would they do a trios match and not bring the trios champions, the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes? I did watch them in Ring of Honor. That was a cool act. So
because Tony wanted Sammy Guevara on the card, and God forbid Sammy Guevara isn't around or isn't suspended for another extended period of time.
So there was a rumor last night that another brawl out was happening, and I was getting excited. I was at the beach. And I got a text message. I know. I got a text message from my cousin. He's like, "Hey man, did you hear that Malachi Black beat the shit out of Sammy Guevara backstage?" I was like, "What? No fucking way." He goes, "It's on Reddit, man. He goes, "Can you ask around?" I think Cousin Joe thinks that I have sources, but I try to tell him I know 3 people that know other people. I don't know anybody inside any company at this point.
No.
But so I was like, okay, so I start my process of asking around, and the first person I asked was Cousin Joe got. That was just a rumor started by a parody account, but a lot of people are believing it because it's fucking Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara, and it's totally believable.
Yeah. So that would have made me so happy. We would have so much more to talk about if there was another brawl out.
But I don't want another brawl out. I really don't. But if Sammy Guevara got beat up, and I like making fun of Malachi Black. I love the gag we have with him. But if he just kicked Sammy in the face, I'd be like, that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. What a hero. And then we got the Bang Bang Gang. Yeah, we got Gang Bang Gang. Sorry,
Gang Bang Gang.
defeating the Dark Order. Dude, I'll be honest. I forgot that the Dark Order was still here. Just I don't know what they're up to. They're hanging around. They're still employed, so good for them.
Hex played out.
Every once in a while, Evil Uno will have a decent match, but there you go. That what's that?
I mean, I see he's a talented guy. I mean, like the X played out, though, man. The Dark Order thing, like it worked. It was all right when Brody was there. It was good, and then they did the thing with Hangman for a while, and it was fine. But now Hangman is in a much better place, in my opinion. So I don't know. Dark Order is what it is.
You need guys to lose matches, and they're very good at it. So
yeah, because they're talented workers. They can lose.
This is like having Bobby Salsa and Mike Jackson just standing in the ring waiting to get beat up, but like better, I would say.
Yeah.
Undisputed Kingdom defeats Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, and Beast Mortos. So this is the one that you were talking about, right? Beast Mortos.
I was there. Yeah, I was there for that, dude. Beast Mortos getting over, like already a crowd favorite. Like every time that guy got in there, big pops. Like the Chicago crowd loves them some old school Black Taurus. Like he's really good. This keeps up. I think they're gonna have to do something with him because he was the star of the match.
Yeah, and I thought at one point he was gonna be pushed towards the Ring of Honor Championship, but looks like he has not yet won it. But
well, they still got on Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe's on TV every week with AEW. So I mean, like, I truly do think they're gonna have something with Ring of Honor coming soon. So
yeah,
let's see.
Yeah, we'll see. So I had to turn off the recap thing because it was taking up all my computer's memory, causing glitches. I get it. So yeah. So we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants. We got this. We got this shit right up on the top of our heads. The show opened up with what I thought was a very good opening contest with MJF defeating Daniel Garcia, and we were 100% right. There was no way that MJF was losing 2 pay-per-views in a row. MJF got the victory, but Daniel Garcia laid him out in the end, man. But I thought it was a great match.
I thought it was a great match. It was an excellent match. My kid said this is a really good match. That's how you know a match is really good, when the 8-year-old is totally enthralled in it. The crowd was eating up Daniel Garcia. Like it's the most over he's ever been. That because he got laid out in Chicago too. So I think a lot of the people in the arena were actually at the Win Trust last summer, or a couple months ago when that happened, when MJF turned heel. So it was a nice little bookend there, and it was it was a really good match. Like I think Daniel Garcia, like he didn't do the dumb dance, right?
Yeah,
he just was really himself, and like he walked through the crowd afterwards. You could just see the fire breathing off him. Like he knew he had the best match of his career, right? Yeah. And that's one of those. I think this is one of those times you can get over in a loss, and I think that Daniel Garcia might have gotten over in that loss. And MJF did a lot to help really make Daniel Garcia in this company, in this match. He gave him a lot, but quite frankly, MJF needed to win too. So I think that was effective booking all the way around.
Yeah, MJF's not quite bulletproof yet. I think his character needs the wins. Like it's important for what he does to win the matches. And Daniel Garcia still has that underdog type of thing. And for him to be able to lay him out afterwards, I think essentially 2 people can win in the same match. Like, and I think that's like I felt like they actually booked it quite well. And apparently they booked it this way because MJF is taking off, but they didn't want him to lose because Daniel Garcia has not signed his contract. I find that to be sketchy. But it was Ibu that put it out. So I absolutely believe Ibu was told that.
I believe Ibu was told that, but there's no way WWE is bitching about Daniel Garcia's contract and he hasn't actually signed it. And they gave him that moment on pay. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, there is no way. If he wasn't signed, then they would have just beaten him and moved on. But instead, they made him look strong. The reason why MJF won that match is because he just lost to Ospreay. He's not losing 2 pay-per-views in a row. He is a top guy. You can't do that to your top guys, right?
Correct.
So, MJF looks like he's going to go film a movie. I'm hoping that it is actually a sequel to that Von Erichs movie, Iron Claw, where he gets to play Lance finally. So I stole that joke from Trevor Dame, by the way. That was not my joke, but I liked it so much I thought I had to bring it here.
You're stealing Trevor Dame's material now.
Yeah.
That's what we've come to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I stole a song off AI earlier, so
fair enough.
I'm not about
Dane Cook over here, man.
Yeah. So you know what's funny is one of the TNA referees looks just like Dane Cook.
Really?
Yeah, his name's Daniel Spencer. Here, watch. I'll pull him up.
Oh
Here,
man, we are so unfocused today.
yeah,
Go, please.
we'll do a little sidebar here. He and I have become a little bit friendly, even though he doesn't follow me yet. He tags me in tweets sometimes.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Well, it's kind of cool. He's doing it because he's trying to get me to shut up about stuff. But I will continue to fight the good fight. I can't. I can't not fight the good fight. One of the things is because when WWE announces that Joe Hendry is going to be on NXT, my thing is to be like, when people like will put in quotes, he's like, "Oh my God, Joe Hendry's on again." I'm like, guys, he fucking works there. Like, why are you making it a deal when he is on the company that he's now working for?
He is absolutely a WWE guy who happens to go into. Oh, he does look like Dane Cook.
Yeah, he looks just like Dane Cook.
He does, like Dane Cook, like 2008-ish Dane Cook.
Yeah, not modern Dane Cook,
not
but
modern
Dane Cook that was selling out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, popular Dane Cook before people went, this guy's not that funny.
I was into him when he was popular, but I think I liked one of his stand-ups, and then I tried to continue on with his stand-ups, and I think it was like a kind of a one-trick pony. Like, he had a few good jokes. Mm-hmm. There's this one joke that he had where somebody was in front of him in line at like a store, right, a department store, and they step out of line to go grab shoes and come back, and they try to get their place back. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just had to go grab this pair of shoes." And then he just like looks at him and grabs the shoes and goes, "Fuck shoes," and just throws them. But his delivery was so good. But that joke is not that good.
No, but that's what Dane Cook is. He just screamed at you, and it was funny for some reason.
He just had a good delivery.
He does have a good delivery, but I never got a Dane Cook. And like a Carlos Mencia, he always got accused of stealing other people's material. So, I kind of want to bite him in the ass. And...
Yeah. Where are we at? What match? What match is?
We did the first match, man. That's all we did.
And the first match was great, I thought. It was great. MJF taking out to film a movie. The second match was Ospreay and what was Bucks. The second match? Bucks versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Another good match, but I gotta be honest, I didn't care about it.
I agree. It was a good match, but the problem I have right now, the crowd was reasonably okay with it. Like, it was hard to follow. It's hard to follow MJF and Daniel Garcia. They really had a phenomenal opener. The Bucks are so cold in this gimmick right now. The gimmick fucking sucks. And hope the Elite as the top heel group in this company is played out. It just doesn't work. Hopefully there's something new on the horizon. We won't talk about that anymore.
I think they just got supplanted, honestly.
I think they did too. Yeah. So, I mean, like, the Bucks, honestly, they need to lose those belts and just kind of go away for a little bit and come back and do something else. Because they're still great. I just never felt so about the Young Bucks before.
Same here. Yeah. They came out and I'm just like, I am not interested in these guys whatsoever.
We went to the bathroom at the beginning. We came back and finished it, but it was like, Andy's like, I don't care about the Young Bucks. We go to the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, sure. I feel the same way. Let's go pee.
I watched the match. I think I kind of half paid attention to it because I just like, and then of course their matches are
the same.
I'll kind of follow a similar routine, I would say. Now, I'm not saying they're too formulaic, but they do have like certain things, like, when things are about to pick up, you know what I mean? And they pick up in similar spots. And so,
and I really like watching Claudio. He did some cool stuff with them. He's so goddamn strong. So, I mean, it was fine for it. Wasn't a bad match by any stretch. I'm sure Dave will give it 4, because the work is good.
Well, but it's just, I don't know. He didn't want to get an angry email from Nicholas.
Nicholas,
it's like, oh my god, damn, that was a 4.25, you son of a bitch.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fine. Young Bucks unfortunately kept the tag titles, but and they're still the champion.
I'm okay with that. With what happened later in the show, I think it was the right move.
Yep, true. Next match, probably match of the year. I think it's going to be right up there, right?
God damn, did this get me? Man, Pac and Will Ospreay. Yeah, I knew it was going to be great. My kid was getting tired already. He's like, I'm amazing. He's like, yeah, this match just doesn't do anything for me at one point. And I wanted to go, well, then you can walk home. Yeah. Like, I got so mad at my 8-year-old in that moment. And by the end of the match, he was jumping up and down. Like, it's impossible. Will Ospreay would hit that Tiger Driver, and Pac hit 2 for Hurricane Ranas, like the most fluidly beautiful Hurricane Ranas you've ever seen in your life. I can't believe the chemistry these two have together. It was unbelievable. It might be my favorite match of the year. It might be.
Yeah.
was awesome.
It's so difficult because there's just
so many good matches.
There's always there's always these kind of matches, right? So it's really hard to stand out from the other matches. You really got to go fucking crazy. And I think Tony Khan was just like, hey, hey, Pac, every move you have, I want you to do them and I want you to kick out. 2.9 and 3/4. Like, I want you to do it.
Every time someone kicked out of 2, I thought about you.
Yeah. I was like, you got to do it. And you got to do it over and over again. And the crowd's going to go fucking ape shit. And he was right. And I was going ape shit at like 11:30 p.m. So that's how good it was.
And for me, it's going to be my match of the year because I was there. And when you see a match live, it always holds a special place for you. And this one was absolutely incredible. Will Ospreay is amazing. And we all know Pac is good, but we take him for granted. You know, I know he's not on shit TV every week, but I think the fact that Pac just disappears from time to time kind of makes it special when he comes back in, right? Because you kind of got to go, oh yeah, Pac rules, and then he disappears again for a little while, and then you come back and like, yeah, Pac's still good, you know.
Yeah, he gets like biannual pushes.
He does get biannual pushes, and they're always great. I would like to see him. I think he's going to be part of this new. We'll revisit this later, but it was great. Yeah. I love the match so much.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see.
You got a comment?
This name cannot be blank. So my only complaint was that every match up to this one, including this one, included a knees up to a top rope splash situation. Just bad agenting. Yeah, they really got to coordinate some of that stuff. I did see some of that too, but that's like, but in AEW, kind of like, I don't think they don't connect those things. Like, you see that sometimes in these types of shows.
You know what was the real problem with this show, Mike? Too many Irish whips. Every match had an Irish whip. Every match had a suplex. I can't do it. Too many suplexes.
One time I was watching a TNA show and I did a Brace for Impact, and they opened the episode with 3 straight roll-up finishes, and I fucking lost my mind. I remember that. I just, dude, I couldn't. I was like, I almost quit the show. I was so mad, and then everybody's like, Mike, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, no, it's so lazy to not like coordinate. Like, hey guys, you got this match, you got this match, you got this match, and then you guys should talk about how the finishes are going to be so that they're not all the same, right? So,
I'm with you. Yeah. But those weren't finishes. Like, they were just counters off the top rope, and that's how you counter moves off the top rope.
Yeah,
you pick up your knees. You could pick up the foot, but you got to do something. So didn't bother me.
Yeah, not that big of a deal. Next match was
it was Statlander and Willow.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you something. When Ospreay and Pac ended, the crowd dispersed. Everybody went to the merch table, get something to eat, go to the bathroom. And I remember looking at the dude next to me like, man, nobody wants to see this match. And I thought for sure they were going to lay a dud. And
I was on that side too. I did not care about the match. I'm one of those people that I happen to don't really think that Chris Statlander is all that good, to be honest with you. Like, she can do the moves, but I just don't really find her interesting. But I love Willow.
Mike, I'll tell you something. Those two worked their fucking asses off, and by the end of the match, the crowd was all about it. Like, they were able to hold, they're not surpassed, but they held their own with Pac and Ospreay to the point where the crowd was super invested. And Statlander probably got the biggest win she's had in a long time. Like, Willow's, whether they won him in or not, Willow's probably one of their best baby faces in the whole company, quite frankly.
Yes.
Like, and it was a fun match. They were athletic. They were moving really well. Like, I really liked it. My kid did. He just, anytime girls wrestle, he's like, girls, and checks out. He's 8, you know. But I had a blast. I thought it was a really, really good match. Kudos to them. They worked their freaking asses off.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. They were put in an impossible position. And so they were smart, though. The way that the AEW was smart, the way that they laid out the match card, because they're like, look, if we're gonna, and I think Dave Meltzer actually brought this up because I think Mercedes Moné went after MJF and Ospreay, and she's not that during All In, and she's not that good, right? So she couldn't hold the audience afterwards. Like, she's like, guys, I went in there, I did my dance, and for some reason nobody cared, right? And so she wasn't able to hold the audience. But what they did this time is like, okay, we're still gonna screw over the ladies. We're still going to put them in a death spot, but here's what we're going to do. You guys need to beat the fuck out of each other and do all the gimmicks. I want thumbtacks in your ass. I want you dying. I want Chris, I want you to dive off the top rope and kick Willow in the face.
Go out, you're gonna jump up the ramp, go through a table.
Yeah.
They beat the shit the vagina to the vagina on thumbtack spot was something else.
Yeah.
Like it
Oh,
was
yeah. That was the second most uncomfortable thing I saw all night behind some of the stuff from the main event.
maybe third. There was some uncomfortable. There was some moments in this show, man.
Yeah.
It was dark, but yeah, it was man. They worked their asses off. I do like Statlander, but I do think she's always been missing something, and I think that maybe we get a turning point tonight. I did like the work a lot. I think she's found like a level of intensity with
Yeah.
the heel character, and Willow's so damn likable. Like it was good, man, and they really fought hard and won the crowd. So kudos to the girls on that one.
Next match was, I believe, the 4-way for the Continental title.
Yeah, this one was kind of flat.
Yeah, I skipped it. So how was it?
It was fine. It was good. It was everybody worked really hard. Orange Cassidy's super over. Mark Briscoe really over. Okada's Okada, and Takeshi should get pushed more. So it was fine. But on this show, it was just fine. It was a really good match, but on this show, it was fine.
Do you think we're gonna be getting Okada versus Takeshita finally?
I think so. I think that's what we're warming up to. It's something people have been talking about for years. And now that they're both like AEW regulars, it's something that just should happen, quite frankly.
I think it should. I could see them wanting to wait until they do Tokyo Dome on January 5th, but I don't think we should wait that long because I think this audience would appreciate it. And I not only that, I think it's time to turn Okada babyface because they've turned him into like a mid card comedy geek doing the B word stuff, and I think it's time. I'm sick of the Elite. I think with the BCC kind of overtaking that top heel position, we can break that whole gimmick up, and then Okada can go back to being a babyface.
Well, now we're really heel heavy in the company.
Yeah,
we're really heel heavy. We need some like top baby faces in the company now. You've got, Ospreay, Swerve, who's kind of a tweener anyway, and like, who else is the top? Danielson. There's like we need some more baby faces in the company. Like I think the next one after that might be Mark Briscoe as far as like over baby faces go. Maybe I'm making that up, but he's pretty over. But like, yeah, I think Okada best serves as a baby face right now because this Elite thing fucking sucks and needs to end.
Yeah, and nobody's booing the guy anyway.
No, it's Okada.
So I'm like, and I like that they brought him in as a heel. I liked the act originally, but boy, it just didn't work, and the AEW audience doesn't want heel authority figures. It's stupid.
Mm-mm.
So
they've tried, man. They've tried, and it's just not working. And hopefully, they're starting to steer away from it.
Yeah. And so you're going to have to help me out on the next one because I'm drawing a blank.
I want to say the next one was Mercedes and
Hikaru
Shida. This one kind of struggled. She did her dance, and she's kind of over. Like it was fine. Like again, it was fine.
Yeah.
For what I mean, like
that's
I zoned out.
So Mercedes is a very polarizing figure because every once in a while she'll go out there and throw out a fucking classic. Mm-hmm. Like you're like, oh my God, this is why they signed her. And then she'll go on a string of like kind of matches. I don't want to say phoning it in, but the matches just don't work.
No, she worked. She worked really hard. I thought the Baker matches didn't quite click, and I don't know why. Like it just because it had heat, like people like it had a good story leading into it. But when the two of them got in the ring, it was just kind of.
Well, it's because neither of them are top tier when it comes to in-ring working ability. But when she's in there with Stephanie Vaquer or when she's in there with Willow Nightingale, and I'll say it, Becky Lynch, when she's in there with somebody like that, like the matches can be up there. She's got somebody in there that she can work with. But like Britt, it's like, man, Britt also needs that type of person.
She does. That's the thing though. Like Mercedes has always been thought of as like this great female wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Like she wasn't really thought of as because she's not a great promo. Like she's got good presence and personality, not a promo ability, but it's always been the work that's got her over, really. And it's not maybe she's still recovering from the ankle injury. Maybe
I don't know. Or maybe a lot of her matches in WWE were very overly choreographed, and she got a lot of help.
That is, I mean, that is what that is the function of NXT.
Yeah,
is to plan everything to the minute detail, and whereas AEW does a little bit more of like openness, and Sheeta probably I don't know. It just maybe it's also possible the two of them didn't click, and they only had a couple weeks to put it together.
Right.
It
And
was
she did, like, I know people are gonna be offended, but she's not over.
never has been.
She's been around forever. She's not over. She's doing this whole new character where she's got kendo sticks, and I get it.
She's had kendo sticks for the whole time. She just has a
Oh,
different hair color.
yeah, she just changed her hair color and all this. So they're trying something with her, and she's not over, guys.
No, that's what it is. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Next match, I believe, was
The
Bryan
world
Danielson
title.
versus Jack Perry, and as predicted, was a very good match, despite the fact that I personally don't care about Jack Perry, but Chicago has a hard on for this guy.
Oh, he will come to this town for the rest of his life and be hated. He is like Shawn Michaels Montreal level.
Yeah.
I have a different take on you. I think Jack Perry has found himself. I think he fucking rules. I think we have to let go of the past and accept the fact that Jack Perry could in fact be the future heel of this company. I thought he was great. I thought his work was good. I think his personality is good. I think he's more comfortable in the ring than he's ever been. And he doesn't hurt the fact that he's in there with possibly the greatest wrestler of his era.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to say possibly because people could debate. But I mean, I love Bryan Danielson. I thought the match was freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Loved every minute of it. Came out to the final countdown. Sam Shipman is wrong. That song rules.
Wait a minute. Sam doesn't like the final countdown.
Sam does not like the final countdown and has to make like a thing about it on Twitter every time. And I'm very disappointed in her because the final countdown is an epic, phenomenal song, despite what snobs think.
We should, you know how people used to get Rickrolled? Like they would just get like these disguised links and you click it and it goes to Rick Astley, I'm never going to give you up. We should try to do that with Sam, just like send her different stuff and it's like final countdown.
If we could figure out how to do it, I'd love that actually.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
I don't know if anyone's actually tech savvy enough to pull that off, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought the match bell to bell was fantastic. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Now they did a little bit of interference. Didn't do it. They only matched with interference on the show.
So that's why it didn't bother me. That's why.
I agree.
I believe it was Double or Nothing, where they had every match had interference. And so by the end of the show, I was like sick of it. Mm-hmm. So if you so here's a lesson to these bookers out there, and you need to get your agents in fucking line. If you save it to the end of the show, it actually means something. Mm-hmm. Than if you do it every single match, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel the same way about a Canadian Destroyer.
Agreed.
Right? And a table spot. It's like you don't get to do it every match. You guys gotta switch it up.
So the match was really good. I enjoyed it, but the story is the post match, right?
Yes.
The story is the post match because they set up Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. I'm like, oh, I texted Muse. I'm like, don't do this. I texted you too. I think it was a group thread, and I'm like, because I just smelled WWE, and I was like, please God, let Adam Copeland be healthy and not let Cage win this match, because it seems like what they were going. And then Moxley showed up. I'm like, oh, and he just showed up too. No music. He just jumped. It was so much better that way. And all of a sudden, there's Claudio, and there's Pac, and there's Wheeler. Like they back down the whatever they're called, the patriarchy. And I'm like, oh, all right. But they just this weird air, like this weird vibe was in the air, right? Where people were happy, but it was kind of like sniff that something might be coming. Again, Moxley's character shift has been pretty obvious on TV last couple weeks, and then they did it, and what a freaking angle! And Jon Moxley got to keep living out his Terry Funk. I don't want to say cosplay because he's not a cosplay Terry Funk.
No.
He just his Terry Funk love and murdered Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag over his head.
That too was another uncomfortable moment.
But
because I saw the angle, I've already seen the angle before with Ric Flair, and I've actually watched it recently just because I like it. Because I think when Terry died, we went down a deep dive.
We did
a rabbit hole in 1989 Terry Funk. So like that angle is like fresh in my mind at all times, and so for them to bring that back, I love it. But it was a super uncomfortable moment. You know what? Small detail that I liked, and I don't know why they did this, but I'm glad that they did. And maybe because as a storyteller, maybe you can explain it to me. They had Claudio attack him first, and I thought that was so cool because we had all been seeing Moxley turning heel, and so one would think that Moxley would be the one to attack him first. But no, it just randomly was Claudio, and I thought that was great
because the decision was a group decision. Yeah. When Claudio's the one we trusted. Brian brought Claudio into the company. Remember the Forbidden Door 2022? It was Brian that had Claudio wrestle for him as the mystery opponent, right? So Brian and Claudio have been close. Claudio was out there with Brian when he won the title just 2 weeks ago, and now they've turned on him. And the fact that Pac didn't do anything but hold Wheeler, they didn't beat Wheeler down. They just held him there and made him watch the whole thing. And I just, man, I thought it was great. I was getting, I mean, like, I don't want to say it was like the NWO first angle, but it kind of made me think of that a little bit. Like, it was better, more violent, like more like, and not as visceral, but fans were like stunned. Like I said, my son was very upset afterwards, not just because of the bag. Like, I don't think he actually processed that a plastic bag over your head can kill you, like, which is a problem. I really should have a conversation with him about that. But I mean, like, he was more upset that Moxley did it. And he was like, I can't believe that. And I told him, I said, Andy, remember, it's not real. I had to like tell him, like, it's not real. I said, John Moxley is because he loves John Moxley. He's like, I said, he's a good guy in real life. He said, this is just a show. This is just a show. He's like, I know, but I don't like him being a bad guy. A heel. He gets mad at me when I say bad guy. He's like, it's called a heel, Dad. Like, he was like getting emotional. Like, I don't like him being a heel. He's supposed to be a baby face. He's supposed to be the best baby face. And I was like, damn, this is a good turn. Like, just talking to my kid and hearing that, I was like, this is effective. Like, and it wasn't effective, uncomfortable, because we get so used to beatdowns in wrestling. There was something about this one, the fact that it was so underproduced. Right? You didn't hear music. You didn't hear anything. Like, it was just a violent beating, but it was uncomfortable. We don't get a lot of uncomfortable enough. We got a lot on this show, but like mainly in wrestling, you were so numb to beatdowns. But this was different. Right? It was unsettling. And like, kudos to John Moxley, who I'm sure put this together himself. You know,
I'm sure that he did. Ibu was on Twitter saying that Tony is trying to do a lot of things to make Moxley happy right now, and letting him live out his Terry Funk fantasies would definitely make him happy. So,
I think Moxley kind of speaks for a lot of us for the frustration of this company over the last year, and I really feel like the last 2 weeks have been a nice course correction. I said that a lot on the show, but All In, was a great wrestling show. This was the other side of AEW, right?
It's for the depraved lunatic sickos.
Yes. And you really felt that. Like, remember that Moxley Omega match, right? That we got at Full Gear that was like, that made people uncomfortable. There was a lot of that in the show. And I think that's what we've talked about this. AEW has to be different, right? WWE is never going to make you uncomfortable. The AEW can do that and did a great job of that.
Yeah.
Right.
WWE wants to make your kids happy. AEW every once in a while want to make your kids cry.
Mission accomplished. And like, but you need that sometimes. Like, because sometimes kids need to see the villain. Right. And sometimes the villain needs teeth. If the villain doesn't have teeth, he's not a villain. And this company has needed a jolt in the arm creatively for a while. And I have very high hopes because Moxley needs to be back in a top position. Right. When the company is firing on all cylinders is when John Moxley is happy and doing stuff. And like,
when he's a major factor in the show, is when they're at their best.
In a lot of ways, he's the lifeblood of AEW. So the fact that they found something new to do with him makes me happy. He tried to turn heel a couple times and it just didn't work. Right. Yeah. I think now is a good time because like the top heel act has sucked. Max is going away for a little bit. It's time for something. And I think that Moxley doing maybe a little 89 Terry Funk is kind of what we need. Right. And I'm okay with that. In fact, I'm more than okay with that. I love it.
Yeah. I would say so from the moment that Moxley joined the company, because I think when he came out at Double or Nothing that year on their first pay-per-view, I think people kind of turned their heads like, oh, these guys aren't fucking around.
For real.
They already, because they had all those Ring of Honor guys and they had, the New Japan guys and they had guys from the Indies. And then of course they had Jericho on top, but Jericho had already been doing other stuff. He'd been doing New Japan and he'd already appeared. But when Moxley came out, it was like, okay, we just jumped levels a little bit. Like these guys are taking themselves seriously.
I was telling Andy, I'm like, when Moxley first showed up, this is before the turn, I said, people went crazy. I said they were so excited. You could see the camera shaking when he made his debut because it really was them essentially slapping their dick out and saying, we're big boys.
Yeah.
And you need to remember that John Moxley did that for this company. In a lot of ways, John Moxley helped legitimize AEW. And he's probably my favorite current wrestler. Him and Brian specifically are my favorite guys. And so I like the fact that he gets a little revitalization here, because they took him off TV for a while. You know, he got to be the New Japan champion. Like, I'm very excited to see what he can do in this role. And I would like to see a depraved Jon Moxley. With Blackpool, I didn't see that coming, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Well, because we were thinking that like Lashley and all these other guys were going to come in and they were going to do like the shooter group, but it looks like it's just going to be Blackpool for now. I'm not saying those guys couldn't come in and be a part of this thing, but
they're there, and that's why I think it works, right? And I think that there's something said about taking guys that are really over as baby, and they are really over as baby. Claudio's over, you know, Pac just walks out there. People are like, oh yeah, Pac rules, and then like Moxley is like I said, lifeblood of the company, and to have them turn is something. And I think maybe it could set up Kenny coming back at some point too.
Yeah.
Right. Because they need him too to come back strong. So I'm very hopeful. I've had more hope creatively for this company because of this angle than anything for a while, as far as just, you know, juice. Like, I want to see some juice. Like, this was really good. Hit me in all the right spots.
Yeah. Great angle. Let's go to the main event. I think that if you liked this match, you need to seek help. I think that you're a sicko. I think you're a demented individual. And I think that you and I have a lot in common if you like this match, because I too need help, and I too like bad things. And I too was worried that somebody was going to walk down them stairs while I was watching this match and be like, what in the hell are you watching, you psychopath? Because I enjoyed this so much. It's probably not, I'm never going to watch it again, but I did enjoy it.
I have therapy next week, so I've got the point I've already booked it. There's nothing I love more than watching Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page try to murder each other.
Yeah,
because that's what's happening next. Oh, there's a chance of this is murder in the clap.
Well, look, Swerve came from Lucha Underground. That can happen.
That's true. And this was wild, man. Like, what can these two possibly do next time? Because the feud's not over. Like, it's not. Like, they're going to keep trying to kill each other. When he took out the syringe is when I was like, and again, it was hard for us to tell in the crowd what it was. And someone finally goes, oh my God, it's a syringe. And that's when I threw the blanket over Andrew's head. And I'm like, you just stay right here, bud.
Like when you have to cover your son's head during either a movie or a wrestling match, you know that movie or match rules.
My wife was like, well, it had to be like something fake, right? Like, it had to be like a trick. And I said, I'm pretty sure he stuck a needle in his cheek.
Yeah.
And she's like, what psychopath would do that? And I'm like, Swerve Strickland. Like, I'm like, he's not a normal person.
And you're not a normal person for liking it.
Well, I know that, and so does she. Like, God, when Hangman they had the cinder block, right? And they faked the power bomb, faked the pile driver, and then Swerve sets up the vertebraker, and I'm like, no way. And like, Hangman's back on that.
Because it hit the corner of it. That was the worst part. Like, I just felt it. Like, I could, when he did that, I could feel it in my own body at that moment. And then Hangman, I think, didn't he do it? He did a power bomb or something to Swerve on that same cinder block.
Sure did.
If I had, there's a lot of things that I wish they didn't do, but I'm not going to be one of those safety police. Like, I'm not going to do it. Like, that's not my role. I'm like, if you're willing to do that to yourselves, go ahead. But I do have heat with the referee. Because there was one moment in the match that was so beyondly stupid.
Oh, when he stopped Hangman trying to kill him? Yeah.
Hangman was going to get a chair. And this is like halfway through the match, right? Like, the worst stuff hadn't even happened yet. Mm-hmm. So he goes to get the chair, and the referee stops him. They're like, hey, no, this is a steel cage match. You don't want to use this chair, bud. And he's like he's stepping on it to prevent him from getting it. And then he bends over at one point, and Swerve then uses him to do a buckshot, but then that didn't work. The whole thing was just a complete mess. So take that out of the match, and I'm like, it's a beautiful art.
I disagree, because I think it helps set up the finish.
But the referees just shouldn't have done that. whatsoever. Because if he was so upset that chair, he would have then picked up the cinder block and got the cinder block out. He would have then started taking other things, right?
I don't disagree, but I think I think having the referee do that while out of character and while illogical helped us like shine a light on the chair specifically. It's like Chekhov's gun, right? If you talk like if you're gonna that's a literary concept where if a gun's going to become something important to the story, you have to talk about the gun, right? So I think that by the referee drawing attention to the chair, it brought back the chair's significance at the end of the match because Hangman absolutely murdered him with that chair. And Swerve was down after, because I texted you guys out. So there's a pay-per-view over. And he was still down. So he was down for a good 15 minutes after the show ended. And he eventually came to, and the idiots like me, they were trying to wait out traffic, were, gave him a little golf clap, so he was selling that injury. I mean, I remember when Cody got hit with that chair in the head the first time and people like lost their shit. Mm-hmm. And they're like, it's a gimmick chair. He's fine. But people go, no, he got hit with a chair in the head. We can't let that happen anymore. The safety police. And they just took that up a level and said, fuck it. The whole chair is going to break when we hit him with it. Like, I just love that Cody would always like, skirt these little nasty things. Mm-hmm. Like he would kind of walk into it, but always kind of pull back. Like the first time. And Swerve and Hangman are like, nope, we're doing like this is Cannibal Holocaust in a wrestling ring. Like they just go for it every single time. And it's disturbing.
Yeah.
But it's great entertainment.
It is. So the hypodermic needle. Whoa. Then bringing that in. That is from Cornette. So Cornette would talk like joke about that on his show. Like, what are they going to do next? Stab each other with hypodermic needles and give each other AIDS? Like he was taught like, and I guarantee they did that spot just for him, just to piss him off, to get him to talk about it. Because when he talks about them, more people are willing to go check it out.
Mm-hmm. And I hope I don't know. He's either going to laugh about that or get really mad about it, and I don't know which it's going to be. I really don't. I don't care either.
I'm gonna listen to his review, so I'm.
You have to share.
I just want to hear him go apeshit about it.
I mean, they do. I mean, they do these things specifically to piss off people to get them to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's one of those things. Like if it's outrageous enough that we get people mad, then they'll talk about it, which is good. Yeah. Like there was and it was good that with the Moxley, the Danielson match was like good work, good classic pro wrestling, heel babyface. Pac and Ospreay was like a super spot fest, and God, I love a spot fest. And this thing was it was a death match.
Yeah,
like it was like an indie death match, but with like really good work because Hangman and Swerve are good workers with remarkable chemistry. Remarkable chemistry
and great psychology too. Oh, it's not just them like setting up spots and like taking forever to like, hey, can you just stay here for a little bit while I set this table up? Like it wasn't that. Like they were actually like it was two guys working together.
I actually like the beginning of the match. The cage wasn't down yet because I'm like, why is it taking so long for the cage? And Swerve just went at him. Like course. It was. And Daniel Garcia the same thing. Like there wasn't no setting up with like a collar and elbow. Like this is a fucking fight.
Yeah.
And like we need more of that in wrestling. And like this was the darkest AEW show that they've had in a long time. And I think that was the point. Mike showed me this meme before the show. It was like All In and it was Surfer Sting and All Out was Crow Sting. Yeah. I think that was the point of the meme was that like All In was supposed to be like a celebration of wrestling.
Yeah.
Where this was like the grody wrestling. Dark.
I texted Joe after I got done. And I said, All In was for the sponsors and All Out's for the sickos.
100% accurate. I took my 8-year-old to it. I should be ashamed.
I hope Child Protective Services doesn't watch this podcast.
Based on the numbers, probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the show. The crowd seemed super into it. Everybody was excited. For them, for Jon Moxley to shut us up and make it super uncomfortable is a credit to what he is as a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Because Chicago is a smart crowd, we're a smart crowd, really, and no one thought Brian was actually dead, but it was uncomfortable. And like, that's the vibe of the night was uncomfortable on some things. It was good though. Like, I think they set so much stuff up for the future And it was like Empire Strikes Back in a way. Like the Empire wins, and like you don't know where to go. Your heroes are all your heroes are in a lot of trouble. Brian and Swerve, your two top baby faces, are freaking literally can't move at the end of the show. Yeah, and it's like it really says something. It was a very dark show. MJF beat Garcia, like a lot of heels.
Young Bucks won. Young Bucks won. Okada won, even though Okada's basically a babyface, but he's still technically a heel. Mercedes won.
Statlander won. Like
it was a heel heavy show. Yeah,
very much. Which Tony doesn't do that a lot. No. Almost always baby faces win in this company. So I mean, it was a little WCW-ish in that regard. But I think we needed that at this point. I think we needed to. Sometimes the bad guys have to win to set up the stakes for the future. And I think we set up quarter 4 for AEW quite well based off that. So I'm excited for the future. I really am.
And because we're gonna have to get another Hangman match with Swerve, and Swerve's gonna be out for a while. That was an injury angle, so we don't know when he's coming back. I'm sure he's not missing the Wrestle Dream. So
no, it's in Washington. So yeah, we need this based on that. Like we need hero stuff. So Brian's going to be out, MJF's going to be out, Swerve's going to be out for a little bit. We're going to need somebody to step up, as a baby face. And I think this is going to be Darby's time because Mox has been calling Darby out the last couple of weeks. And so I think this will be Darby Allin's shot to really kind of be the number 2 baby face a little bit under Brian. And who knows how long Brian's going to be out after that either. So maybe Darby kind of leads the show for a bit. I don't know. Like I said, I'm fascinated to see what happens the next couple of weeks.
I'd like to see Darby. Yeah, he did call it Darby. I can see Darby getting a shot at Moxley. I would like to see heel Moxley versus Mark Briscoe on pay-per-view. I just think that would be great.
Fuck, that would be awesome. Yeah. And what a great way to legitimize your Ring of Honor title, quite frankly, by putting it on Jon Moxley. Especially if you're going to get a TV show, especially if Ring of Honor is going to have its own, which is speculation. But if Ring of Honor is going to have its own show, having Jon Moxley, heel Jon Moxley with that title, I think is a good move.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Well, hey, Patreon, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being Patreon subscribers. Please tell your friends. I am going to clip the recap portion of the show for YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Please give us a like and a subscribe. And also join the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/The Mike and JD Show and find out what you missed during this actual 80-minute broadcast that we just did on Sunday night for our Patreon audience. So everybody check that out. That's going to do it for us on Overtime this week. Check us out on the Voices of Wrestling Network and the Mike and JD Show YouTube channel coming up this Thursday night. We will be live and in Technicolor at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, mahalo.
I want to see something really scary.
Do I have everybody's attention?